Hi and welcome to this first Q&A covering British racing. So the first question. Hi, do you think anything can be done to stop these small fields? From Patrick. Hi Patrick. Yes, I think this is a really serious issue facing racing right now. There are plenty of reasons why it happens, such as a declining horse population, reduction in the average number of runs per horse per year, perhaps in part down to breeding and training evolution, a growing number of races and meetings, 48-hour declarations on the flat and going changes which affect those. Much can be done, but the question is whether it will be. Racing's many stakeholders all bleat like lambs at the slaughter at the very mention of the word change, and they all consider that their particular issues are the most important. In fact, it's my opinion that racing's inability to sing a common tune is its biggest threat. I'm personally in favour of 48-hour declarations because they give us more time to study and write about the form. A necessary evil of that is a commensurate growth in non-runner numbers. However, other issues such as, in my opinion, an unsustainable volume of races and meetings for the current horse population, and the decline in popularity of national hunt ownership do require more direct intervention. In fairness to the BHA, they recognise this, and in the last couple of months I've contributed to a consultation on national hunt racing, and as of this week I have sight of a race planning revisions consultation document. The Horse Racing Betting Forum, on which I sit, also may make recommendations in relation to the above, though I can tell you that this particular subject hasn't made it onto a very packed agenda for the first meeting on Friday the 4th of September. It's to be hoped that some solutions can be found for this very real problem, though it clearly won't happen overnight, or else getting a fourth place in handicaps will become a luxury, and getting a third place less of a common occurrence. Okay, on a lighter note, next question. Hello Matt, I trust you won't mind my superfluous question. No, of course not. It is something from the back of my mind. Has Mikel Barcelona suffered a fall from grace? He seems to have gone from a retained rider for Godolphin to a bit part rider for Freddie Head. Do you know of any reason for this? And that's from Robert Jolly. Hi Bob, yes and no is the answer, I think. Firstly, as with so many sportsmen and women, Monsieur B was a precocious talent from an early age. But his flamboyance, remember that ballsy salute from the saddle as Paul Moir only just prevailed in the Derby, is not to everyone's tastes, and maybe betrays a lightness of character not best suited to the work ethic expected in big yards. Look at the most successful jockeys, Richard Hughes, Ryan Moore, Frankie Dettori, and you'll see a group who are workaholics first and showmen second. Even Frankie, after a Barcelona-esque beginning to his career back in the day, knuckled down to the work rate required to succeed. MB is still getting some great rides, and perhaps the example of Dettori is the most pertinent. Frankie has had more than one second chance, and he's blossoming in his relative dotage this season. So I wouldn't be too worried about Mikel. I think we'll see an encore from him in the next couple of years. A quick question from Ken, who asks, what does it mean when a trainer says he'd like a bit of black type for his horse? Well, black type is usually used in relation to fillies and mares and refers to a first four finish in a pattern race, that is a listed or group race. It appears on a horse's page in the sales catalogue, literally in bold black type, and is a most attractive attribute for a buyer looking to breed from the filly or mare in question. Next question. Frank asks, why isn't semen collected from outstanding stallions and used for artificial insemination with future generation mares? Hi Frank. Quite simply, it is against the rules. As you probably know, the business of breeding is huge, much bigger than that of racing, and anything that prolongs the fertility lifetime of a stallion, such as freezing his semen for artificial insemination, is a threat to subsequent crops of stallions, and thus the business, the big business, which underpins it. There are really strict rules around breeding which ensure that no foal can be registered without it emerging from a formal mating, all of which is tracked regimentally. With bulls, breeding is important, but the fact that they don't compete directly, generally speaking, I presume means that the rules can be slightly less stringent. Next question. Aidan O'Carroll asks, what's the reasoning behind naming horses by running several words into one? For instance, diamonds and rubies. Gigi subscriber Bucky Boy answered this one in the comments and said names are limited to 18 characters inclusive of spaces, so your example with spaces it would total 19. Next question. Matt, what do the following expressions mean that are commonly used by TV pundits? Well furnished, recalcitrant and precocious. That's from Dave. Well, Dave, I'd like to say that at various points in my career I've been called all of those, but unfortunately it's not quite true. Well furnished means the horse has a good physique. Recalcitrant, I'm sure I've been called that, means that it's not the most cooperative. And precocious means that it has a lot of ability and or is very mature early in its life or career. That concludes the racing Q&A, the very first racing Q&A. Hopefully we'll do this every now and again and you get some value out of it. Some of the questions are more irreverent than others, and that's good. I like a nice healthy balance between serious and not so serious. So if you have any questions on racing or any subject in fact, do send them in and I'll collate them all and we'll do another session like this in the not too distant future. There are 2 more to come in this series, one on betting and a third one on Gigi's Gold and various things associated with that. So do look out for those in future. But for now, this is Matt Bisogno saying bye for now.